Welcome to the AI Coach by Anil Nethu. Today we're doing a bit of a deep dive, really exploring how agentic AI is being used right now and maybe what it could mean for business decisions down the line. We've looked through quite a few different sources to hopefully give you a clear picture of this. Well, it's a fast-moving field, isn't it? And for you, our listener, the learner, if you're trying to get a good handle on this quickly without getting totally swamped, well, that's what we're here for, trying to pull out those key insights, those aha moments.
Exactly. And when we talk about agentic AI, what we really mean are these intelligent agents, sort of like software programs, but they can operate much more independently. They work in complex environments like a business, making decisions, taking actions, all aimed at specific goals, but without needing someone to constantly tell them what to do.
Okay, minimal human intervention. So that's the key difference from, say, traditional software. Yeah, precisely. Traditional software, you pretty much code every single step, right? If this happens, do that. Very explicit instructions. Agentic AI, on the other hand, you give it an outcome, a goal, and it figures out the steps needed to get there. It decides the how.
Right, it decides the how. That sounds like a huge step up in, well, flexibility
Mm-hmm.
and maybe scalability too.
It really is. Think about traditional workflows. They're like following a very specific recipe, step by step, very rigid. Agentic workflows are more dynamic. They can plan, they can execute, but then they can also look at the results and adapt their next steps. It's iterative.
Okay, adaptive, that makes sense. More like navigating with a GPS that reroutes you if there's traffic, rather than just a printed map.
That's a great analogy, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
can
yeah.
react to things in real time.
So, okay, beyond this flexibility, what are the real tangible benefits businesses are actually seeing when they start using this for, making important decisions? Well, probably the biggest one is just, frankly, better decision making, enhanced decision making. These agents can chew through enormous amounts of data almost instantly. Market conditions, internal numbers, customer behavior, all in real time.
Real-time insights, not waiting for a weekly report.
Exactly. So decisions are based on what's happening now, not last week or last month. This gives businesses a real edge, helping them react faster, more effectively.
I can see that. So it's like having this constant pulse on everything that
Yeah,
matters.
pretty much. And because they operate 24/7, that intelligence is always on. They don't sleep, they don't take breaks.
Always on intelligence, okay.
Exactly.
And does this extend to looking forward, like predictions?
Absolutely. That's another huge area of predictive analytics. By analyzing historical data and spotting current trends, these AI agents can actually forecast things. Think about future market shifts or maybe what competitors might do next. It lets businesses be proactive, not just reactive.
Being proactive rather than reactive. That's a game changer for strategy, isn't it?
Definitely. Staying ahead of the curve.
What about the nuts and bolts, though? Efficiency, cost. Does it actually save money?
Oh, for sure. Automating these complex workflows, it speeds things up dramatically. Fewer errors, faster processing, and yes, that translates directly into reduced operational costs. We saw this example of an e-commerce company.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they automated order processing, inventory management using agentic AI, and apparently cut operational costs by 30%.
30%. Wow. Okay, that's substantial. That really shows the potential impact.
It really does.
But it's not all just internal cost cutting, is it? What about the customer side? How does this affect customer experience?
That's another really important area. It can massively improve customer experience, which in turn often drives revenue growth. Think about 247 customer support through chatbots. These aren't just simple FAQs anymore. They can resolve issues instantly in some cases.
Like that example with the online IT school using Slack.
Exactly, resolving problems right away. Plus, they can personalize interactions on a scale humans just can't manage. Better personalization, faster support, that leads to happier customers, more loyalty, and ultimately, they spend more.
So better satisfaction, better retention.
Yep. H&M, for instance, used a virtual shopping assistant, an AI agent, and saw a boost in their e-commerce conversions, so it directly impacts the bottom line, too.
Right, so cost savings and revenue growth. That's a pretty compelling package.
It is.
Now, you mentioned finance earlier. What about businesses in heavily regulated industries? Does agentic AI help with things like compliance?
Yes, definitely. Compliance is a big one.
Right.
Automating the monitoring of regulations, generating reports, it makes adhering to all those complex rules much more efficient, particularly in sectors like finance where the rules are constantly changing and the penalties for mistakes are high. It can reduce errors and ensure things are done consistently.
Streamlining compliance.
Yeah.
Okay, that's another solid benefit. Feels like the applications are really broad.
They are incredibly broad. We've touched on e-commerce, customer service, finance.
Fraud detection you mentioned. Risk assessment.
Yes, exactly. Processing huge volumes of transactions to spot anomalies indicative of fraud, assessing risk in real time, then their supply chain, optimizing how inventory is allocated, planning the whole chain more efficiently, making sure stuff gets where it needs to be when it needs to be there.
Getting the right products to the right place minimizes waste, keeps customers happy.
Right. And even at the highest level, corporate strategy.
Yeah.
Companies like Salesforce, Wiley, they're using AI agents.
How so? For strategy.
Well, for tasks like onboarding new customers more smoothly or pulling together data-driven insights to help executives make those big strategic choices, and market research too. AI agents can gather data, analyze trends, even build customer personas, or simulate the outcomes of different strategic moves.
To simulate outcomes. Wow, okay, that's getting pretty advanced. It's clear this is touching almost every part of a business. As you know, the AI Coach by Anil Nathu aims to keep exploring these kinds of real-world uses.
Absolutely, the potential is vast.
But there have to be challenges, right? It can't all be smooth sailing. What are the big hurdles businesses face when trying to adopt this?
Oh, definitely challenges. A major one is data quality and the training of these AI models. Garbage in, garbage out, right? The AI needs high quality, realistic data to learn from and make good decisions. And that often means continuous iteration, refining the models.
So getting the data right is foundational. What else?
Well, reliability and predictability can be concerns. Because they're autonomous to a degree, the exact path an agent takes might not always be obvious. Businesses need to trust it'll get the job done reliably.
Trust. Yeah, that's key with autonomy.
Mm.
And what about security? Giving AI access to lots of systems and data sounds risky.
It is a significant risk. Privacy and security are paramount. These agents might need access across different systems, potentially touching sensitive data, so you have risks like data leaks or even malicious actors trying to inject bad instructions. Things like data isolation, strict access controls, maybe anonymization, they become critical.
Right, security has to be built in from the start, not an afterthought.
Absolutely. And then there are the ethical considerations. Big ones.
Like what? Bias.
Bias is a major one, yes. If the training data reflects historical biases, say, in hiring the AI can perpetuate or even amplify that discrimination, algorithmic bias is a real problem.
So unfair outcomes, basically.
Potentially, yes. Unequal access to opportunities or services. It requires really careful thought about diverse data sets, regular audits for fairness, building an inclusive culture around AI use.
And job displacement. That always comes up with automation.
It does. It's a valid concern that needs to be managed proactively. Transparency, retraining, focusing on how humans and AI can collaborate, that's crucial.
Collaboration. We'll come
Yeah.
back to that. But first, related to trust and ethics.
Yeah.
What about control? How do you govern these autonomous agents?
Governance is a huge challenge. When you don't have direct human control over every action, how do you ensure safety, fairness, ethical behavior, especially in high-stakes situations?
And can you even understand why the AI made a certain complex decision? The black box problem.
Exactly. The interpretability of complex machine learning models is tough. So we need things like clear governance frameworks, maybe emergency stop mechanisms, specialized platforms just for managing AI agents.
Okay, so governance tools are needed. What about just getting it working with existing company systems? Is that hard?
Oh yeah, integration can be a massive headache. Plugging AI into existing software, workflows, data pipelines, especially if a company has older legacy systems, it can be complex and costly.
Right, the plumbing needs to work.
Yeah.
And finally, people. Resistance internally.
Internal resistance is very common. Employees might worry about their jobs or just feel uncomfortable with technology they don't fully understand.
So change management is key.
Absolutely. Transparent communication, focusing on how AI augments human roles, not just replaces them. A human-centric approach is needed.
And one last challenge, figuring out if it's actually worth it. The ROI.
Yes. Measuring the return on investment for agentic AI projects. It's still tricky for many organizations. It's not always straightforward to quantify the benefits against the costs, especially early on. We saw some data showing nearly 60% of companies find calculating ROI challenging.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So lots of potential, but also significant hurdles around data, trust, ethics, governance, integration, people, and ROI.
It's a complex landscape for sure.
Which brings us back to that idea of collaboration. It sounds like the future isn't really AI replacing humans, but humans and AI working together.
That's certainly where the thinking is heading, finding the best ways for humans and AI to complement each other's strengths.
How might that look in practice?
Well, you could have AI doing the heavy lifting on data analysis, finding patterns, making predictions, maybe handling routine tasks, while humans focus on the nuances, the context, applying judgment, creativity, handling complex ethical dilemmas. Things AI isn't good at, leveraging the best of both worlds.
So AI handles the scale and speed, humans bring the wisdom and context.
Something like that, yeah. It's about synergy.
Okay, looking ahead then, what are the big trends we should watch out for in this space? Where is agentic AI heading in business?
We'll almost certainly see deeper integration into business intelligence, using agents to analyze ever more complex data for strategic insights, and probably more use of natural language processing, NLP, to make interacting with these systems more intuitive for non-experts, asking questions in plain English, getting insights back.
Making it more accessible.
Exactly. And alongside that, we'll see the development of those robust AI governance tools and platforms we talked about. Managing these systems safely and ethically will be critical.
Right, the tools need to catch up with the capability.
For sure. And I think we'll see traditional rule-based workflows and these newer agentic workflows existing side by side for a while, maybe becoming increasingly integrated. Not necessarily in either situation.
A hybrid approach then. These are definitely trends the AI coach by Anil Nathu will be keeping a close eye on.
No doubt. It's evolving rapidly.
So let's try and wrap this up. The big takeaway seems to be that agentic AI offers some really transformative opportunities for businesses, making decisions faster, more efficiently, based on real-time data, automating complex stuff.
Huge potential, yes.
But it comes with significant challenges: data quality, ethical pitfalls, security risks, the need for strong governance, integration issues. It's not a magic bullet.
Definitely not. Careful consideration and planning are essential.
And it really highlights the importance of finding that balance, that effective collaboration between human skills and AI capabilities.
That seems to be the key. Leveraging AI as a powerful tool guided by human judgment and values.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for our listeners to chew on. As these AI agents become more autonomous, more capable, what new roles, what new responsibilities might emerge for us, for humans, within business decision-making in the years ahead? Someone to think about.
A very pertinent question for the future.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Visit the AI Coach website for more AI insights by Anil Nathu.